Well, how about that? I think they like my video. Thanks. So, before I continue, this is a tirade about why I don't like a piece of computer software called Steam. If what I say bothers you, you can go back to what you were doing. Don't let me bug you. This is a continuation of my first video, and there were quite a lot of findings from myself and other things I hadn't mentioned. So, this video is a part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch it. I will be linking it and other great videos that talk about other problems Steam has made much better than I can, so I don't need to repeat myself. Originally, I had intended the Steam video to be a one and done, then I'm off to more Let's Plays. But I'm going to continue since I have a lot more to say, and like anything shady that makes a lot of money, it's worth calling attention to, and taking action against, before it gets to the point where there's no going back. I'm going to be a lot more proactive, and also provide you with solutions to the inconveniences that Steam has caused, as well as highlighting findings that viewers wanted me to know about in my last video. So, continuing from my last video, I do have one correction. Steam is not Windows 8. Windows 8 actually works offline, and you own it. I personally own 2 copies of it, and they are in my room on display. They may have a notoriously clunky user interface, but it does not self-destruct and cease to function like Steam does if you disconnect it from the internet. Steam has stolen the Windows 8 user interface actually and made it always online, which cripples your ownership and mandates a paid internet connection where you bear the cost. And if you check the prices these days for ISPs, not free. I care about Steam, and I left it behind because it and the users who played it have betrayed me, and the systems that once provided convenience have been weaponized against me and you. And I want what's best for you, me, and Steam. And ransomware is certainly not that. The FBI defines ransomware as a malicious software or malware that prevents you from accessing your computer files, systems, or networks and demands you pay a ransom for their return. Ransomware attacks can cause costly disruptions to operations and the loss of critical information and data. Well, I would say in practice that most certainly defines Steam, and that's probably my biggest issue with it, but outside of the other 28 that I had mentioned and whatever else, we've got a part 2 to deal with, so let's continue. Valve created a self-destructive system and demanded you pay for it. There's actually a game design talk where they call it treadmill work, meaning they have created an unsustainable software system that requires updates and constant work to function on an inferior capacity to older games on something even as simple as the Xbox 360, Android, or even just most modern new itch.io or GameJolt games, even CD games, DVD games, GOG games, games for Windows Live games, or PlayStation 3 games. If I can compare any 20-year-old console or game service from Windows Vista and XP to now, and those operate to a superior capacity to Steam, we got a problem. Steam is not an improvement, it's an inconvenience. As mentioned before in part 1, you need to go through 28 steps to play a Steam game, and like 5 to 8 to play a DVD game. And the DVD games are a better deal because they're cheaper, and some people might say there's a lack of convenience, but you can just use no CD patch, no DVD patch, and these are the same people who will say this is undesirable to them. Meanwhile, they can write a 500-page essay in my comments that gets deleted by YouTube for harassment and spam, but they can't watch an 11-minute video to its completion. That's usually the problem with a lot of people who are so critical, is they will just, write paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, yet seemingly, we couldn't be bothered to finish this entire video. I'm so caught up in my own sauce, I'm not even going to listen to what people have said before making my opinion known about it in such immaculate detail that it literally gets automatically removed by a robot because it sounds and is typed out as if it was done by a robot. But regardless, with most CD and DVD games for Windows Live especially, which is why I keep buying from them, you can just use a no CD crack or patch, and you get to keep the files for your own personal archives. With Steam, they don't really allow you to do any form of proper backup. There's an exemption in the DMCA which Valve is forced to actually obey and abide by, and they actively are not. You are allowed to keep one copy of your game for personal archival. There is no option to create a personal, permanent offline archive of your games on Steam anywhere. And in order to even create that, you would need to buy the game on Steam and basically commit piracy. But that's the thing about it. You really should not be cornered and forced to pirate games in order to keep them in a functional state, because unlike physical objects, code does not decay or run out. Steam is certainly an elaborate attempt at manipulating people into thinking otherwise, but it's an off or on switch like how Windows 10 has been doing it for the past decade, and how Windows 11 is doing it now with more invasive steps. Basically, they will have an off switch for this, but you can't just turn it off like you would say be able to turn off an update in Windows 7 or 8. No. You have to go through 5 million steps, half-assed third-party debloater programs, and basically hope you never have to get any form of malware, or you don't screw up your entire Windows 10 install as a result of attempting to debloat the program which you have purchased with the specific purpose of making your life better in some regard, or in the case of Steam, making you have something to entertain yourself with, because God forbid you're bored, right? You can't even get something that's as simple and it works to a capacity as a game that was released 10, 15 years ago with the requirement for launchers. Oh, well, Steam is so much better and I like it. That's the thing they keep saying. And what happens when I attempt to just do a basic check of this? Well, looks like we got a shitload of down votes and 40% like ratio. Huh. Okay, well that seems a little aggressive. I would figure if this was all good and dandy, no pushback, they'd be correct, but nope, not exactly. So that's pretty fucked up, and without any guarantees as to the functionality on Steam, you have no alternatives other than piracy, or basically just hoping that the developer put the game up on a platform where you can legally buy it. So it's like, which case are you going to go with? I think most people are going to go with piracy because they have had it up to here with how many fucking steps companies will put in place, Valve included. But oh no, they have the sunk cost fallacy, so they're not going to actually try and do anything about it. They're going to say Valve is still good, but fuck everyone else, even though what's the constant thing that's causing them this issue? Oh, perchance could it be Valve? Exactly. They've altered the deal. You don't have to pray they don't alter it any further. You can opt out. So I did. I opted out. How hard was it? Not hard. Just uninstall it from your computer and go pirate all the games you already had. Simple as that. And the best part about this is that Steam is not the only PC game store in town. As I mentioned, Games for Windows Live, GOG, Itch, GameJolt. I will have the rest of these in the description. And I'm not the only one who's noticed these issues with Steam. It's been a long-running and consistent sort of thing over the years. I found quite a few other videos that have made some observations, but took no action to them as a result. So these problems just kept getting worse and worse and worse until now, where culture, because of, you know, of all things, something as minuscule as EA putting DLC in Battlefield 4 and all these other games, it's gotten to the point where people have been so conditioned to just have a problem that they cannot function without it. Steam is not just about DRM and ownership. It's not just corporate greed. That's what it started as. The whole thing is set up to trick you into believing that it's at all a legitimate business, when in truth it's a software that encourages, enables, commits, and protects child gambling, especially in TF2 and CSGO and whatever they wish to call it now with CS2. And as you kind of can tell with old Team Fortress 2, they tend to get used to treadmill work, or in other words, being ignored. Yeah, save TF2. Better idea? Save yourself. Money laundering. CSGO as well. Did you know that most skins are used for money laundering? And since most politicians don't care about video games, they get away with it. You know, why do you think all of these big live service games keep coming out and dying in 2 weeks? Huh. They seem to have this little thing I coined in my first Assault video, the LGBT guarantee. And that basically means 3 things. You're gonna get a game that sucks dick, doesn't work, and uses gay people as a bullet shield for any form of criticism and call you racist. Plenty of those on Steam. I'm sure that's no coincidence. You tend to see the signs with the bright colors, but as we'll continue. Fraud, especially the whole selling quote-unquote goods that aren't actually goods, like Ross Scott found out with Stop Killing Games, and he's been fighting against this practice in the EU. Market manipulation by hiking up the prices of digital games as if they have to have the same price as physical ones despite having infinite supply thanks to just being code. There's absolutely zero reason why a game should ever cost $60 fucking on a digital platform, especially if you're not printing a disc anymore. Arguably, it should be the other way around, where digital games are so cheap that I would never want to buy a physical game again. But that's not the reality we're living in. Unfortunately, physical media, old tech, Windows 7 and XP has ironically been coming back because technology like Steam has undermined itself. But let's continue. They're price gouging by censoring games sold for lower prices elsewhere, but that's not legal or enforceable. But they do it anyway because what the fuck are you gonna do? They have money, and if you're a small company and you can't retaliate with a legal battle, which would be very costly, you're fucked. A lot of the games on there also solicit prostitution, especially with a lot of those anime and sex games. Some of them do have ties to actual prostitution, and there are some other rather disgusting finds that people have found with that, and I am going to, if you are remotely curious, which I fucking hope not show here. You are more than welcome to search it. You have Google. And if Google does not work, you're more than welcome to look at Brave. You're more than welcome to go to yandex.com or FreeSpoke. But, yeah, really disgusting shit. And a lot of games on Steam are just full of porn. No thank you. I happen to enjoy video games where big army men violently murder each other in the desert like Call of Duty. Not these gay furry games. No thank you. This kind of ties into the 7th thing I've got listed here. And indecent exposure. Yeah, that's a crime where basically you show your private parts in public. I would say Steam is definitely doing a lot of that. Anime and other quote-unquote, games that are just sexual or have nothing else going on. Usually some sexual Tetris game, picture books with sexual characters in them, as if to imply that you need to really show this to little children or whoever the fuck else is so immature that they would just need a picture book of this. Like, really disgusting preschool, kindergartner, perverted fucking picture books. Usually they call it a visual novel or a quote-unquote dating simulator, as if there's any form of simulation going on in these, because it's just a fucking image. Fucking gross. And puzzle games as well. Usually all of these are bundled with a Bitcoin miner in them. So, on top of probably giving yourself STDs or erectile dysfunction, you're certainly giving them to your computer. Really unpleasant. It was really something so simple, but I remember just playing fucking Call of Duty, the world worked. What was ever so wrong with that? Oh, the games were too violent, and I don't like America. Okay, well, you had options. This is what happens when you replace them. Thanks. Anyway, robbery, because a lot of these games you can't play after they or someone else, I guess, says so, or just feels like it one day. I mean, like, what happens if your favorite game goes down because all of a sudden a company named Epic Games decided they wanted to take an axe to it? That's not an impossible thing. How would I know this? Look at Unreal Tournament. Might be a little too hard to find, because they replaced it with this little thing called Fortnite. What do you think's going to happen to Fortnite? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Same thing that happened to us. Unreal Tournament. Oh yeah. You'll be next one day, if you like that game. And it'll be a damn shame when it happens. They've raised the prices of V-Bucks. It's going to happen. But regardless, if they feel like it one day, as most people keep saying, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. And as, I don't know if I'm going to butcher this or not, but Marquetta Gregova, whatever. Basically, the MEP for the Pirate Party said in a joint statement from Stop Killing Games, "We cannot allow multi-billion-dollar monopolies to treat our digital libraries as temporary rentals they can destroy at will. Digital sovereignty, whether as a union or as individuals, is non-negotiable for us pirates. If buying isn't owning, then revoking access is stealing." Amen, lady. God bless you. Destruction of private property, especially if you bought a disc Steam game like I did. I bought Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. That's now a waste of plastic after you enter the code, and it's an unusable fucking product. I mean, unless you prefer to use it as a coaster. And otherwise, no. I guess it gets to sit on a fucking shelf now and look pretty. I can't do shit with the thing I bought. Well, that's fucking pleasant. Invasion of privacy with data miners and spyware galore. Likely why they really require so many constant updates, because I wouldn't be shocked if this was actually just some fucking NSA honeypot or some kind of Israeli fucking honeypot or some kind of Chinese honeypot to fucking data mine you, break the fucking law. I mean, go look at Edward Snowden. Pretty sketchy shit. Unwarranted search and seizure, because you better bet your ass when they ask for administrative privileges, they can fucking do whatever the hell they like on your computer. Especially on Linux, too. I mean, how much of Linux relies on Steam or Proton as a dependency and requires constant updates, hoping to God you won't notice all the shit they leave behind them. Exactly. When you're not in control, you get fucked. That's the problem with these kinds of digital services. They do not have a basic guarantee of quality that you even get to use the thing you've used. Online only or not, you cannot use them. That is a problem. If I buy any other kind of good, I can use that good regardless of whatever conditions they have assigned to it, because it's mine. If I buy a light bulb, guess what? If it's a smart light bulb, the light does not cease to function if the internet goes out. The light bulb works. I buy a smart thermometer. The smart thermometer does not cease to function if the internet dies. The thermometer still works. The same way with a normal thermometer or a normal light bulb. Valve and video games are not special. They are goods. Unless there's something like World of Warcraft, as Ross Scott from the whole Stop Killing Games thing has discussed, and I think he has done a very good job of discussing it, but I think too many people still give Steam a pass because they've bought too many Steam games, and because they feel hurt if anybody is ever critical of it. This is what happens. So, cruel and unusual punishments, and you'll especially know this if anybody has been unfairly banned, had their account hacked, or was scammed on a trade who also doesn't have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, a mafia on Twitter, or works for CNN, basically. They'll tell you all about it, but nobody's going to fucking listen. As I already discussed, hidden fees, there's a lot of false advertising, government surveillance, a lot of forced arbitration, which they then removed because of a lawsuit that happened. Mass arbitration suit, actually. There was an email that went around about it a while back. Pretty fucked up. And they tried to pull the rug in bad faith so people can't get a lot of money back on games they purchased. So basically, if you actually do want a refund and you've been fucked over by Valve's shitty customer support, or basically the most lucky case you'll get is if you bought the game and then immediately try to do a refund, you might get your money back, but chances are if you wait any more than an hour, you will not be able to get your money back. Because what happens is, they will then send you to their robotic fucking, I don't know, chat GPT bot, because instead of actually hiring something, or someone, right, to actually do what they're fucking supposed to do, and treat you like a customer, and actually get you what you need, no, they're just gonna have a chat GPT bot, if you're lucky, or something like that. And they'll wait a week, and then because it's been a week, oh, you're now out of the refund policy, jackass. Fuck you. We've decided that arbitrarily. You can no longer get your money back, even if it's something as small as $3 fucking dollars. Kiss your money goodbye. That's a soda you can't buy anymore. I mean, think about that, right? You could have gotten fucking something else with that money. But I don't hold you accountable for that. I don't blame you for that. I don't look down on you in that. I look down at Valve for that, because they have fucked you up, and you don't deserve that. So, aside from other cruel and unusual punishments and other horse shit, there's a lot of programmed and planned obsolescence. If you want to use Steam on Windows XP to basically Windows 8, and soon enough it will happen to Windows 10, you're fucked. You basically get to go to hell, and that's not really pleasant. If you bought Left 4 Dead, if you bought Half-Life, I mean, these are very popular games that I think everybody and their dog who loves Steam loves to talk about. They love to say is so good. They literally have these operating systems in these games, and you can't even play them on those operating systems because Valve arbitrarily pulled support. So they pulled the rug on people who bought those, and you might say, okay, it's old, who cares? Who cares? Coca-Cola's pretty old. Who cares about Coca-Cola? Oh, there's a lot of people who seem to drink that these days. A lot of knockoffs. It gets sold out at a lot of stores. Dr. Pepper's pretty old. It's not required to live. McDonald's is pretty old. Burger King is pretty old. You do some research, you'll realize these are very, very old. A lot older than you and I, or probably Steam, I'd imagine. Okay, so age basically doesn't determine if something is good or popular. So why the hell is that an excuse? Deflection. Same thing with Half-Life. Oh, Half-Life came out in the 90s and is an unfinished game that's only okay because it's not spouting Duke Nukem lines every 3 seconds, so people think it's atmospheric. Just because you don't stoop to the lows of your competition immediately doesn't mean you're better than them. Cute. Oh, it's got wonderful world building, because they're not saying, come get some, every 3 seconds, but, you know. Typical. Also, a bit of perjury by openly sponsoring and enabling CSGO gambling sites at a major after lying during a class action lawsuit with T. Martin and Pro Syndicate after saying they did not sponsor all of these websites. Yeah, that's a little curious, Valve, because if you don't actually support these fucking websites, what are you doing supporting these fucking websites at your 2023 major? With a 17-year-old boy, by the way. And people noticed. That was pretty fucking blatant. So, on top of that, they're selling a bunch of faulty products with no guarantee of their functionality. No fixes, no apologies, and no compensation. So, I think Fallout 3 is a very good example of this, where the Steam version of the game is totally fucked, but if you just buy the old Games for Windows Live version on a disc, or the GOG version, you're good. Wait, what? You can just get a better version of the game for cheaper, and it fucking works better? Why the hell would I bother with Steam? Why would you? Exactly. So, just don't, right? Crazy idea. But they also sell a lot of malware-infested products. That's pretty terrible. They also do not have very good quality assurance testing, or otherwise very little quality assurance testing. Because the quality of these, allegedly they have some sort of council or some sort of group or meeting or committee, whatever the term they wish to apply, that does manual reviews. And I'm sure these consist of gangbangs with Gay Ben in the office where they hole punch them in the fucking office party, if you will. Fuck each other on his yacht that he bought during COVID instead of putting any of that money back into ensuring that the servers work for Team Fortress 2, Day of Defeat, or actually Steam, because it keeps going down every 3 fucking seconds. Even with a gigabit Ethernet connection, this platform fails to work consistently like 24/7. If you're gonna fuck me, at least do it correctly. Can't be bothered, because why would you? They also tend to sell a lot of stolen games. There was a case, particular with G2A, and particularly Jim Sterling, back when he was Sterling and Jim, had found out that there was a bunch of shady shit happening on G2A, and the Factorio developer, Woob, got paid 10 times the amount of the cost of their game if they could prove that there was a bunch of stolen copies. And, G2A says, well, we're not stealing anything, but then they go and pay out 10 times the cost for shit they just stole, using Steam's infrastructure, their systems. Are we starting to see a pattern here? Steam is fucking perpetuating all kinds of crime. Does that sound like a place you want to be part of? Delisting 2. Spec Ops The Line got taken down because of a licensing issue with one of the songs, the national anthem in the main menu, and Focus Home Interactive took down 4 Sherlock Holmes games from Steam because they didn't own the rights. They made up some horseshit policy that had no legal enforcement possible, and innocent customers were deprived of their games. Another thing that's particularly fucked up is just how little vetting there is for any kind of publisher or developer you really need with Steam. I mean, there's a very infamous case where there's just a developer named me or myself, and that's their name on Steam. And there's another one that's called Very Positive, or one I've personally seen, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Over. So, these people get really kind of creative. But they were just selling a bunch of itch.io and indie games from other platforms, and then selling them without any permission. Well, that seems like this system is pretty prone to abuse, wouldn't you say? Valve totally constantly just let the publisher, who had hijacked and stolen the developer's code and their games, to just keep relisting it over and over and over again. It's pretty fucked up. There's a lot of malicious compliance with multiple governments, especially France and the ACCC from Australia. There's a lot of criminal negligence, oftentimes screwing over their former business partners like Arcane, HTC, Gearbox, suddenly, and after years of development on some game. Like, they'll talk about this game, and you'll expect it to be on Steam, and it'll just fucking disappear. They'll say there's going to be a cool new mod toolkit for Half-Life Alyx. Nothing comes of it. Artifact is going to get a big, brand new refresh, brand new version 2 update. Release is unfinished. Go fuck yourself. Team Fortress 2 is going to get all of these wonderful features and updates. We're going to do a heavy update. Go to hell. Doesn't happen. That seems a little rude. Like the cartoon game. No, fuck you now. You're done. And then the fucking fan base deteriorates on itself. It collapses in on itself as it becomes just a disconnected fucking wasteland of people who are all pissed off at each other. That's not a community. That's a fucking cult. Does that sound like fun? Fuck no. The most fun you can have going anywhere else online, more accurately now. Shit. Another thing they fucked up, and this was a find by Total Biscuit forever ago, was they've failed to protect the data and security of their users during a Christmas sale. I think this was back in 2015, 2016. I'll have it linked in the description. But a fun fact, their security is actually pretty awful, which is why leakers keep spreading busted versions of Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life betas all over the internet. The same security likely fails to protect your personal data, like your name, your email, your credit card, your house address, your phone number, and a lot more, I'm sure. Though I'm sure there's some elite hacker who can poke and prod at that. Not gonna be me. They also refuse refunds for upwards of a decade, which only got added thanks to a lawsuit, though they're pretty bad and unfair even now, and like I've mentioned, usually it'll just fast forward you to a bot who then waits a week and then proceeds to just give you nothing. So you don't have the ability to refund it. It's like, okay, well, we say that you have 2 hours or 2 weeks, but you don't. You actually don't. I mean, hell, there are more stores. I've known banks and fucking department stores that have like at least a 30-day money-back guarantee. I mean, it's a lot better. And if the thing is faulty, well, they'll just give you your money back, no question, a lot of places, because they want you to go back and buy something that actually works and get your money. They do that because it's a gesture of good faith. But if there's no good faith here, then you can't fucking pretend that you actually care when you don't. If your attitude is rotten underneath all of that, no update, no system, no refund policy that you're pretending with a fucking papier-mâché mask is actually something you care about, is actually going to affect anything. So no, it's a fucking lie. And you might not believe this as well. There's quite a lot of relationship investment scams where usually they try to, make a relationship with you on a personal level through the internet. Usually it's by having big streamers on top of the store pages. And usually what they will do is they'll attempt to sort of use this live stream. Hey, get you and your friends in on this. Buy this game right now that you won't play. And it's usually like some pornography anime game where you have some bearded jackass playing the fucking game while he's probably playing with his meat. If it ain't that, then, well, you can certainly go look for yourself. It's pretty disgusting. And last but not least, you might not believe this, but actually, Steam commits piracy. That's right. Turns out Steam is actually one of the biggest distributors of illegally cracked software that has been pirated by cracking groups. Now, usually it's a publisher stealing and pirating a game from a developer without their express written consent, or, more likely with the case of Rockstar Manhunt, or even GTA San Andreas, literally stealing their own fucking game to make a quote-unquote DRM-free version of the software. How ironic. And I'm sure there's much more they've done, but that's like a lot of shit. That's a lot of horrible stuff to just shake off and deny like willy-nilly, right? You just forgive and forget all that. Steam is so good. It's perfect, it's fine, it's the best thing in the world, says the bots and the Steam salesman. But, I am obviously not a lawyer, nor are these accusations, so I would recommend you come to your own conclusions, but holy shit, the list just goes on and on and on and on. Is this really what gambling for cancerous PNG like textures on crappy digital guns and 2D anime ass does to people? Yeah, it is. Actually, I know that from fucking experience. I've known 2 or 3 motherfucking friends who I saw as family and brothers. Sex addiction, drugs, porn. Every time, man. Fucking gets them. That's why I hate this shit. Oh, boy. But anyway. Steam runs like garbage, as a friend of mine named Bloodburn found out. Over 1 gigabyte of RAM usage on Windows for flat Windows 8 malware UI with nothing going on no matter what settings you change. High performance, low performance, doesn't matter. Expensive visual settings, doesn't change a damn thing, because it treats you like a criminal for fucking legally buying games no matter what. It gives you no control over your game's launcher while offering nothing in exchange, and Valve have been abusing their customers, and they fell for it. They get nasty and defensive and often don't even play most of their games, wasting their money donating to Valve while getting nothing in exchange. Now, one thing that affected me personally is Valve removed 278 games from my library by abusing the systems and software to remotely rob me of them by breaking them, outright removing them from my library and or destroying parts of them, leaving the games I paid for incomplete. And I didn't pay for half of a game, I paid for all of a game. This cancer has spread from games to just about anything in daily life, especially digital streaming. It's sickening. And the receipts were missing from Steam, so the only way I could prove it was with rather decade-old, bank records and receipts. So for my safety, I cannot provide those, as I'm not looking to dox myself. But the way Valve has set up destroying games with Steam is they pull the trigger remotely. You must send a written request for Valve to remove the game by convincing them why. Then, if you did a convincing enough job, they will on your behalf. A developer cannot remove their games from Steam without Valve's manual approval. So while a developer can send a request, they cannot go into the back end like Valve does, to the extent that Valve does, and destroy what you have purchased, making Valve the ones responsible for the destruction of hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of fucking computer games at this point. How do I know this? Well, I'm going to tell you how I know this. I used it to destroy the listing for the cancelled Rogue Planet 1 multiplayer that was accidentally made public, and it was scrapped. I put that mode into Rogue Planet 2 now, which is actually what I've been working since the release of my first game. I could not destroy it myself, so I asked Valve to do it for me, and they did. That gigabyte of usage is also likely a rootkit, and I don't have exactly anything concrete, but I can tell you that my computer took about a minute longer to boot up without Steam installed than it on, and that's definitely going to open my computer and yours to all kinds of issues, especially if you got bank stuff on there. So if that's what it takes for people to run out of, people need to run out of money to see the truth, if that's what it takes, so be it. Plus, if Steam outright commits piracy and distributes illegal pirated goods, they seem to not practice what they preach and what gets quoted all the time about service issues from Gabe Newell. It's rules for thee but not for me. That's the Valve motto. Not quality or integrity, that's horseshit. Not realism or reinforcement, that's fucking propaganda. They're lying through their goddamn teeth. Something that they and Xbox share in common. They'll immediately say what they need to get out of a sticky situation, take no action to actually fixing the problem they created. Problem gets worse, brand deteriorates. I guess the Microsoft attitude carries over. Extend, embrace, extinguish, exterminate. Because the only reason Microsoft made Windows 10 free was to trap you, ransom you, and manipulate you. Same thing as fucking Steam. Technically, getting ran over with the car or shot in the head is free, but is that what you'd like your Steam library to consist of? You be the judge. And speaking of, you in particular, the people, commented on my video and left some rather helpful things, and I felt it was a good idea to read what they spoke about aloud so their voices are heard, because oftentimes they get silenced. A commenter named GambaGamba6505 had this to say. Quote, every month I make at least €5 in Xbox/Windows Store vouchers with Microsoft rewards, free by using their search engine and playing on their console PC launcher. The purchases are also transferred into reward points, even the voucher. Many games are now cross-buy on Xbox. Steam is a total rip-off in comparison. GOG has no DRMs. Epic has free games. Valve only offers fanboyism. End quote. And I agree with what Gamba said. Using Xbox, you get paid for it. That's actually something to show for it. So if they spy on you, you get paid. I can't exactly argue against that. They reward you for loyalty. You get some kickback. That's win-win. What loyalty does Steam offer by comparison? None. Often politically charged rants about how apparently only Republicans want a working game they own, developers who make busted games, and then call their audience racist when they don't enjoy it, and scams and fraud. You'll find a bunch of people who get upset are, usually uncivil about a video game launcher because they take it personally. Despite all of this, 5 years ago, the same people would say how companies don't care about you and aren't your friend. I guess they didn't believe it, but they were right, and Valve has shown that pretty blatantly. Another commenter named Jard had this to say about Steam. Steam has successfully hijacked the minds of gamers to where obvious psychological scams that prey on these people's addictions to buying games. Check out all these games not being sold for rip-off scam prices in the Steam 2026 summer sale. Gabe is such a kind ally to us consumers. Obvious algorithm coordination manipulation. Don't you want to buy this game? It's popular right now, and all your favorite streamers are totally playing it. Buy right now. Buy right now. And what are essentially glorified NFTs. My gambled knife PNGs actually do have monetary value, I swear. Why don't you believe me? It's all lauded as some selling points of the platform. When you call this out, like some gamers, especially get triggered and pissed and act like you personally attacked their dog and tarnished their late great-grandfather's legacy. Even in another video like this, there was someone vehemently defending Steam and threatening that, quote, expressing a negative opinion about Steam will piss off a lot of people, quote. Yeah, tough guy. It's completely baffling that fanboys will enamor themselves this much with a fucking video game DRM service and a multi-billion-dollar corporation that sees them as exploitable revenue streams. I agree with Jard as well. The marketplace is an overpriced insider trading market for fake DLC items made to commit money laundering like most other features of Steam. It conditions you into buying games and virtual items you'll never fucking play and use on excess. You just never fucking play with them. It's using high school peer pressure tactics of all things, trying to make it seem like you're in this clique. So many people are playing all these generic AI porn games at the direct expense of everything else, including being able to fucking use what you buy. But who's people? That's never specified by all these vague fucking YouTube channels. You know, it sounds like a vague threat more than anything. It's like some mafia thing like, if you dare insult me, I'll get my people to bully and intimidate you into shutting up. I'll make you have a little accident. You know, like a mafia scared, like something you'd hear out of The Godfather. And it's written by like a 7-year-old who likes anime, furry stuff, grew up neglected by their parents, so they throw a fit and lash out at others around them. This is also the default attitude of Steam and just about every other online platform I see these days, YouTube included. But like any bully tactic, they're trying to trick you into spending money, like a bully trying to make you take drugs or do something stupid at your expense. And the best thing to do is to stop engaging and take actions against them before it gets bad. They get away with it if you say and do nothing.
Give Steam your lunch money, or else random insecure people who like anime and Minecraft will whine and complain and start talking like they're living in a censored communist state without free speech. Oh no, they'll call you bland insults that a kindergartner would find offensive and send us something with flavor like Xbox Live or Call of Duty, where you get called a pussy or gay for using a riot shield or camping.
It's likely because these generic people are just a corporate AI chatbot made to divide and conquer people when they ran out of normal people who work a 9-to-5 job to manipulate, so they make artificial social interactions without any humor, humanity, impact, or adult words in them. Oh no, how dare we make an adult comment with language that goes beyond a second grade level. You better buy generic sex game with a crypto miner number 8621, or your comrade Stalin is secretly responsible for the fucking Cuban Missile Crisis. Do you see how it's stupid? It just always goes from 0 to 100 with these people. It's never anything else. So, no wonder everyone I know wants to go back to Windows 7. Steam can only burn so many bridges before people like the ones I showed from my comments and in the description tell Game to, get a grip and leave his scam launcher behind. People want shit that works. How many YouTube videos keep popping up of people who go back to old tech because it made their life work again? How many people are pissed off, depressed, and fucking socially awkward as a result of being on their fucking phones? Yeah, bad habits. Neverland syndrome. It's pretty terrible. As long as Steam lives, though, you're never getting Half-Life 3. You're never getting a game you want. You're never getting Left 4 Dead 3. Left 4 Dead 3 would be so easy. It's so easy. All you'd have to do is add more shit to it.
Oh, that'd be too complicated.
And that's the point. But, no, we need to overthink it. While we wait for this game that'll never happen, just make another disposable generic corporate product like Concord 2, Deadlock, or Hearthstone from Temu, aka Artifucked. Yeah, this is no mistake either. It's not something I'll shrug off and ignore. Like I said, there are tons of great options. But since the first video, I had another list of things to cover in this, and I figured I would. Remember, you didn't like this, you could have left, but you chose not to. So, you can go back to what you're doing. I hope you have a good day. But if you did like this, and you want some excellent alternatives to Steam that don't punish you for just wanting to play a game, then go check out what I linked below. As well as competing launchers, I am making my own Xbox 360 styled shooter game set in 2012. It's called Rogue Planet 2. It's got 37 maps, I guess over 100 guns, and I want lots of the excellent designs and gameplay from the Xbox 360 and PS3 era games, especially games like Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Halo Reach, to have some new life and not just be left behind and made out to seem like some nostalgic relic of the past. Products that work in a complete and guaranteed capacity, like the ones from Xbox 360, PS3, and 10 to 15 years ago, are only nostalgic because most of the ones people keep using are made by people who collectively stopped caring about that and are actively rioting in the streets of big cities in America, ramming police officers with their cars and throwing firebombs at them to not allow a dystopian police state, allegedly. Meanwhile, Steam has pretty easily done that and covered it up with a bunch of sickening and sterile cartoon characters, so at a glance, well, no one cares. It's just some harmless video games, right? It's a blatant assault and a means to make you hurt to perpetuate a non-existent culture war chain without end, instead of just having fun playing a good, working, and complete video game that's of good value to you. I think it's time to break the chain. If you agree and want this game I'm making to succeed, sub to my channel and share this video and others from me around. Without growth, I can't sustain this channel and the projects on it. If you want authenticity, you want originality, you want creativity, well, here I am, 3 spades. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and take care with one last piece of advice. Once again, another line from the FBI, but something that's just good advice and should be common sense because, hey, why the hell not? Protect yourself. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Do your homework and thoroughly research any investment opportunity independently of what any salesperson provides you. Never rush into an investment opportunity. If you are being rushed or told not to discuss it with others, you're being scammed. There is no such thing as a guaranteed return. And as I found out, and as you will find out, if you try to get a refund on Steam and you don't have a rage mob of 1 million subs with anime avatars to back it up, or you don't work for CNN usually, you won't get your money back either. That's all, folks. Take care.